Live now, ma'am.
So, good evening, friends. I, Mangla Dogra from Chandigarh, on the occasion of the Nigf Platinum Oration, have been given the opportunity to be the Sutradhar or the anchor for today's evening. I thank the organizers. I thank Madam Sharda, Dr. Sadhana, and Dr. Ragini for giving me this opportunity to be the Sutradhar for today. 8th of March happens to be a very auspicious day. Why? Because this time, इस साल, इस बार दो बड़े महत्वपूर्ण इवेंट होने वाले हैं. पहला होली, जो कि हमारा बहुत ही प्रसिद्ध त्योहार है, और दूसरा हमारा इंटरनेशनल वुमेन्स डे. इस फोरम में आज हम थोड़ा सा आपस में इसको भी शेयर करेंगे, संग संग मनाएंगे International Women's Day and थोड़ी बहुत आपकी होली. Now, starting from Holi, but before I say that, I would like to tell all the NIGF members who are present and who are listening कि मैं during this 7 minutes of talk आपको 4 प्रश्न पूछने वाली हूँ, और जो सबसे पहले उस chat box में उस बटन को दबा देगा और जवाब दे देगा, Shield people are going to give them 1 token of appreciation and some reward point. So please get ready and be vigilant to what I am saying. मेरा पहला सवाल, क्या आपको पता है कि होली ओरिजिनली क्यों मनाई जाती थी? ये मेरा पहला सवाल है. होली is a festival of colors. It's रंगों से रंग भर जाते हैं. It is said that Holi festival was originally a ceremony for married women. Do you know that? It was a ceremony for married women to spread prosperity and goodwill on their new family. I was not aware of that. This is something I've learned new. What I knew and what all of you know, this celebrates the eternal and divine love of Radha and Krishna. And this also celebrates the victory of good over evil, the victory of Lord Vishnu as Narsimha Narayana over Hiranyakship. And then we play with colors. होली के दिन दिल मिल जाते हैं, दुश्मन गले लग जाते हैं. So what colors are we playing? My question is, आपको उन अलग-अलग colors का कुछ भी ज्ञान है कि किस color का क्या significance है? So the first color is a saffron color, or the bhagwa, or the orangish color. It is the sacred color worn by our Hindu priests and Hindu monks. The blue color is for Krishna. Krishna, because that is what depicts immortality, bravery, and determination. The green color means new beginning and happiness because of the new harvest. The yellow color is for knowledge and learning. उड़ने दो रंगों को इस बेरंग जिंदगी में, एक त्योहार ही तो है जो हमें रंगीन बनाते हैं. शक्ति में दुर्गा, शिक्षा में सरस्वती, लाभ में लक्ष्मी, ममता में यशोदा, जननी में गौरी, विनाश में काली, महिलाएं भविष्य चरित्रों की रंगोली ही तो होती हैं. अंतरराष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस की आप सबको शुभकामनाएं. अपना वजूद भुलाकर ना जाने कितनी रिवायतें निभाती हैं, सलाम हर उस खातून को जो घर को घर बनाती है. So, ladies, all the ladies present here, we know that 8th of March is International Women's Day. मेरा सवाल नंबर 2 वो ये है कि ever since independence आप मुझे ये बताएंगी कि 8 मार्च, कितने 8 मार्च ऐसे आए हैं कि हमारा वुमेन्स डे और हमारी होली कोइंसाइड करेंगी? This is सवाल नंबर 2. So please, the one who answers first on the chat box gets the prize. On 8th March, people around the world celebrate International Women's Day to honor women's achievements in a variety of fields. Women are just as productive as men in almost every area of today. Do you know the history? Who started this? Let's see who answers this. Who started the International Women's Day basically, from where it originated? It was in 1910 Clara Zetkin, the leader of Women's Office of Social Democratic Party in Germany, who tabled the idea of the International Women's Day at the Second International Conference of Working Women in Copenhagen. हमारा भी एक National Women's Day होता है. It is one International Women's Day is on 8th of March, whereas our National Women's Day is held on every February 13th. And this is to commemorate the birth anniversary of Sarojini Naidu, popularly known as the Nightingale of India, to acknowledge her achievements as an extraordinary leader whose potential goes beyond the realm of Indian political cluster. So when you have the International Women's Day, you also have the international slogan, you have the International Women's Day theme, and also the international color of the Women's Day. So the slogan of the Women's Day, International Women's Day for this year is women can, and you can help. And the theme of 2023 International Women's Day is digit all, ALL in capitals. That means innovation and technology for gender equality. And now the color of the Women's Day. मैंने पहन रखा है, ये बैंगनी रंग है, ये purple color. This is the color of International Women's Day. And why so? Because this means justice and dignity. Also, there are three colors, purple, green, and white. Green means hope. And it is also for the feminist movement. And white we know is honesty, humbleness, purity. And so let's see which all women are wearing purple color. So they get the third prize. The global occasion celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women is actually represented by these three colors. बहुत अचीवमेंट्स हैं हमारी औरतों की, हमारी महिलाओं की, हर फील्ड में जब हम प्री इंडिपेंडेंस से लेके आज तक की वो उनकी अचीवमेंट्स देखें. If I have already talked about Mrs. Sarojini Naidu, we can never forget the contribution of Rani of Jhansi in the freedom struggle. I'm going to name few, I cannot name all of them, but I will just name a few of them. And they are primarily from the north because we are here in NIGF. So after Rani of Jhansi, it is Razia Sultan, Ahilya Devi Holkar. Now my next question. My question is Amrit Kaur. So who was Amrit Kaur and what was her contribution towards the medical field? After India's independence, Amrit Kaur became part of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's first cabinet. She was the first woman to hold cabinet rank, serving for 10 years. I don't think we are aware of that. In January 1949, she was appointed a Dame of Order of St. John, and she was from the royal family of Kapurthala. She donated all her money so that All India Institute of Medical Sciences could be made. So kudos to this Maharani of Kapurthala. Then is Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the first woman Prime Minister of India who served from 1966 to 1977. And she was also named the Woman of Millennium in a poll which is organized by BBC in 1999, and the first woman to receive Bharat Ratna Award. Sushma Swaraj, the most powerful external affairs minister. Kiran Bedi, the first lady IPS. Kalpana Chawla, Mrs. Draupadi Murmu, Mrs. Sita Raman. We also have women in sports, Fogat sisters, Manushri Chiller, Harnaz Sandhu, and Ghazal Alag from Gurgaon, the co-founder of Mama's Earth Health and Wellness brand of mother and kids. There are many, many more. Imagine a gender equal world, a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, a world that's diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. Together, we can forge women's equality. Collectively, we can call embrace equity. The last, why only a day when their contributions are endless? नारी दिवस बस एक दिवस क्यों नारी के नाम मनाना है, हर दिन हर पल नारी उत्तम मानो, ये तो नया जमाना है। सजग सचेत सबल समर्थ आधुनिक युग की नारी है, मान सम्मान और प्रतिष्ठा सबकी वो अधिकारी है। सो मेरी तरफ से आप सबको अंतरराष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं, and also wishing you a very happy, healthy, safe Diwali. Sorry, Holi. My bad. And now I would like to hand over the mic to Dr. Mala Srivastav. Over to Dr. Mala Srivastav.
Thanks, Dr. Mangla. That was really very energetic opening speech by you. Good evening, everyone. It's my privilege and pleasure to welcome you all to this edition of NIGF Platinum Oration by our stalwart, none other than Dr. Jaideep Malhotra, who has been the past president of FOXY. It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Sharda Jain Madam, who is the patron of NIGF. She has collected all of us for this academic and learning activities. It's my pleasure also to welcome Dr. Sadhna Gupta Madam, who is the president of NIGF. Madam has been very humble, organized leader of our association. I'm very happy to welcome Dr. Ragini Agarwal Madam, who is the president-elect of NIGF. Madam has many innovative ideas to take forward our association. It's my pleasure to welcome all the vice presidents and conveners, Dr. Achla Batra, Dr. Jaya Chaturvedi, and Dr. Amrit Pal Kaur. I'm happy to welcome all our mentors, Madam Dr. Kamal Bakshi, Dr. Usha Sharma Madam, Dr. Chandravati Madam, Dr. Meera Agnotri Madam, and Dr. Lagbir Dhaliwal Madam. And I'm happy to welcome our patrons and mentors for this evening, Dr. Mala Arora, Dr. Nirja Batla, and Dr. Sudha Sharma from Jammu. And of course, it's a pleasure and we'll be privileged to hear from our star orator, none other than Dr. Jaideep Malhotra Madam today evening. I also welcome our wonderful anchor and coordinator, Dr. Mangla Dogra Madam, who has been so cheerful to open this evening program in such a vibrant manner. I welcome all the delegates who have logged in for this evening. Now it's my pleasure to request Madam Dr. Sharda Jain Madam to address this August gathering and give her blessings to all of us. Over to you, Madam.
I think it's a great day, great honor of mine to welcome Dr. Jaideep Malhotra. There are only few legendary figures whom people want to listen. And today you can see the stalwart Jaideep is going to speak. I have a lot of regard for Dr. Jaideep and Dr. Narendra Malhotra. And I will say that today is a special day because the Holi and
Not audible.
Network, I think.
It's not audible. Yeah.
उसके बारे में कुछ टिप्स देंगे और इस वुमेन्स डे में जब सभी जगह लेडीज का परचम लहरा रहे हैं, कुछ अभी भी लेडीज सोई पड़ी हैं, तो जैसे आपने कहा है कि टाइम इज नाउ टू अवेकन देम. सो आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड, आई एम एब्सोल्युटली एक्साइटेड. I want to enjoy every moment of your oration and learn many things from you. Over to you, Dr. Malhotra. I will like my senior colleague, Dr. Bakshi, to speak 1 minute for her. Dr. Bakshi.
Namaskar and happy Holi. First of all, I apologize that I'm lying down because I'm down with the viral fever for the last 4 days. But I cannot resist that if I don't attend the NIGF and my sweetheart, Jaideep Malhotra, wow, what a lady she is. I tell you, it is not only the ladies, I tell you, even the men I would say they look forward to hear a very vibrant lady. And I think I won't take more time because I'm looking forward to hear from her. Jaideep, all the blessings and looking forward for the wonderful evening on a Women's Day and a women doctor and who will keep everybody spellbound. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Mala,
Thanks,
Dr. Mala.
Thanks, Dr. Madam, for all your pearls of wisdoms and blessings. I'll request Dr. Sadhna Madam to address this gathering for a minute.
थैंक यू माला. मेरा प्रणाम सभी आदरणीय डॉक्टर शारदा जैन, डॉक्टर कमल बख्शी, हमारे मेंटर्स और सभी ऑफिस बेयरर्स और कन्वीनर्स को. And it is a great pleasure to be having our 5th Platinum Oration on the under aegis of North India Gynae Forum. That's been done by none other than Professor Kamal Bakshi, Dr. Usha Sharma, Dr. Sushma Chawla, and Dr. Kala Vashish. And we are deeply indebted to Professor Jaideep Malhotra for her kind and prompt acceptance for delivering this oration. And होली की सभी को और इंटरनेशनल वुमेन्स डे की सभी को शुभकामनाएं. होली आनंद, रंगों और सौहार्द का त्योहार है. और वुमेन्स डे, होली पे जो हम राधा कृष्ण का जो अलौकिक प्रेम कहा जाता है, वो खुद एक इंटरनेशनल वुमेन्स डे का हिस्सा है. क्योंकि जो स्त्री का, जो पुरुष और स्त्री के संबंध में जो अधिकार है और जो उसकी डिग्निटी है और जो उसका आनंद है, उसके लिए होली कहती है. तो ये बहुत एक कोइंसिडेंस ही सही कि होली और इंटरनेशनल वुमेन्स डे एक ही दिन पड़ रहा है, लेकिन दोनों की भावना एक दूसरे को पूरा करती है. So once again a warm welcome on this NIGF Platinum Oration. We are looking forward to listen eagerly Dr. Jaideep Malhotra, and before that we will like to have lighting of lamp and a very short video on Women's Day that will set the stage for Dr. Jaideep Malhotra's oration. So Sahiti, I request you to request all dignitaries, faculties, or star orator, judges of the slogan competition to join in the lighting of lamp.
A wonderful mother, a loving daughter, a great sister, a perfect partner, and a caring grandma. Every moment in life is incomplete without you. We thank you for being women.
May I
So,
request Dr. Ragini Agarwal Madam, you want to address? Then we will request
you,
Madam
Mala.
to, yeah.
थैंक यू माला. मेरा प्रणाम सभी गुरुजनों को और सभी फ्रेंड्स को होली और वुमेन्स डे की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. डॉक्टर साधना ने जो एक वीडियो दिखाया और उसके एंड में जो डायलॉग दिखाया, आई थिंक वो डॉक्टर जयदीप मल्होत्रा का एग्जैक्ट वर्णन है. मैं जयदीप जी को बहुत सालों से जानती हूँ और वो मेरी बड़ी बहन की तरह हैं। उन्होंने मुझे बहुत गाइड किया है और उनकी जिंदगी एक इंस्पिरेशन है हम सबके लिए। तो बेहतर ये है कि हम उनको सुने और उससे कुछ शिक्षा लें। ओवर टू यू।
Thanks, madam. I hand over to Dr. Mangla to carry on the further program.
Absolutely. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, all right. Sorry. अब मैं जितने भी मेरे चेयरपर्सन्स हैं फॉर द ओरेशन उनको इनवाइट करना चाहूंगी. डॉक्टर माला अरोड़ा. Dr. Mala Arora doesn't need an introduction, actually. She's the chairperson ICOG 2017. Her main forte has been in International Journal for Infertility and Fetal Medicine. बहुत लेक्चर सुने हैं मैंने आपके और बहुत प्रभावित रही हूँ मैं अपने जीवन में आपके इस सारे काम से. And she is chief editor of Recurrent Pregnancy Loss. Next is Dr. Sadhana Gupta. She doesn't need any introduction. Already, we are well aware of all her credentials and academic achievements. In fact, इस बार जब मैं सबकी CVs पढ़ रही थी, तो मुझे ये realize हुआ we all are women achievers, and I'm proud of all the women here. Kudos to you guys. Wow, womania. And Dr. Sadhana Gupta is also the Foxy presidential candidate for election year 2023. And then is Dr. Nija Batla. She's a professor and head at Department of Obs and Gynae, All India Institute. And her main forte has been oncology. She's head of Gynecological Oncology National Cancer Institute. And she's the first woman doctor from India to grace as chairperson FIGO Gynae Oncology Committee. Dr. Sudha Sharma. Dr. Sudha Sharma, Vice President IMS 2024-2025, Secretary General IMS 2021-2022, Associate Editor, Member Editorial Board, more than 70 publications. Welcome, ma'am, Dr. Sudha Sharma, welcome to be here. And Dr. Amritpal Kaur. Dr. Amritpal Kaur is Professor and Head, Department of Gynae and Obs, Amritsar. She's President of Amritsar Obs and Gynae Society, and her main areas of interest are general obstetrics, high-risk pregnancy, and contraception. Welcome, ma'am. And now I would request Dr. Sadhana Gupta to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Jaydeep.
Thank you, Mangla. It is a great pleasure to introduce Dr. Jaydeep Malhotra because what you say, everybody has got some special relation and a personal relation with any person. So my relationship started right when I was resident in SN Medical College, Agra, and her mother-in-law, Nareed's mother, Dr. Prabha Malhotra, she used to started organizing conferences, and we as a resident have to be at the registration counter doing many things. So Jaydeep's family was the first one who introduced me to Foxy, and we have grown together. We have similar year, almost similar year, and she has achieved so much, and she has been the president of Foxy, Aspire, ISAR, and it is not that on International Women's Day, a lot of award what Dr. Jaydeep Malhotra CV says already, FRCOG recipient of Nepal Samman Lifetime Achievement Award, DLA Woman of the Year, Amar Ujala, Indian Book of Record, Economic Times, Indumati Jhaveri, a lot of paper. But I have seen her struggle and going ahead despite odds. It was not easy for her to accomplish not only the first post, but also to do the commendable work. So what I say to Dr. Jaydeep Malhotra, it is the one thing that be strong, somebody might be following you. And Dr. Jaydeep, I was very silently following you. So you are inspiration of a generation of doctors, and we are all eager to listen to you because there is only now. Welcome, Dr. Jaydeep.
Thank you, Sadhana. And thank you, Madam Sharda Jain, Ragini, and every one of you at NIGF. It's really been a pleasure to be associated with all of you. And it's not only as NIGF, but as, friends for years and years and years. It's not only that you have been following me, I have been following each one of you and learning from every one of you, because that is what all life is. And I'd like to, wish each and every one who's here listening today a very, very happy International Women's Day, because today I can, and it's not today, it's right from when I was a young girl. I have always been a very proud female and a proud woman, I would say, because this has been part and parcel of the sanskara which probably I got. And that is something which in fact, it's being a little nostalgic. I'm writing my biography, and, a lot of stories keep on coming when you write, and a lot of understanding from my own life is coming today. So wishing you a lot of strength, and I'm looking forward, and thank you for this opportunity. Today also we are just pre-Holi, and pre-Holi we have talked so much about Krishna and Krishna was surrounded by the gopis, and Krishna was always insecure because he was dark, and he asked his mother, why I am so dark and all these girls are so pretty and they are so, fair. So Krishna's mother said, okay, go and put color on each one of them, whichever you want. And that is another part of the story where her Holi started. But what is important here is that there is this Krishna whom, when we are following the Bhagavad Gita, and very rightly at every sentence when you read, it gives you so much of thought and so much food for thought to think. And when Krishna says, Jeevan na to bhavishya mein hai, aur na hi atit mein hai, जीवन तो केवल इस पल में है, अर्थात इस पल का अनुभव ही जीवन है. And that is something which we have to sort of understand, because, when I look back at my life, what did Google tell me? That I actually went around the world 3.5 times in 2019. And I covered the total distance of 1 lakh and almost 60,000 kilometers. Now, I was just wondering, of all the things which I was doing during that year and maybe years before, actually, I would say more than 25 years before that. And I'm just showing you just a very small picture of all that. And when 2018 came, when 2019 came, 2021 and 23, and time just flew by. And my desk was like this all these years, and my room was like this all these years. And I'm just wondering, what am I doing? I actually took a lot of pride in saying, oh, I'm a multitasking woman and I can do everything. And, that is how women operate. And yes, actually, it is true. There is no better multitasker than a woman herself. Can you imagine your mother? Just imagine, she may have been a homemaker, but how much she was doing. And I also followed my mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law being a very, very popular gynecologist, wonderful orator, awesome cook, and a amazing organizer, a perfect organizer. And then we were almost 40 years old, and we would say, Mom, jara ye ticket kara dena, and she'll leave everything and she'll do that for you. And one day I just got up and I said, Nareen, when are we going to grow up? Till when will we tell mommy to keep on doing things? So, that is what women are made of, and that is what inspires all of us. But I definitely went back and I thought myself, now why and how we are the way we are, and why we are thinking and doing the things which we are. So it really needs a lot of thought process to be put in place. And I have to go back to the medical college. And when we are looking at the residency, the medical school preparations, and first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and there is a little bit of excitement when you go to the medical college, and within a few months, I remember mine. I mean, I was a very, very good student, and I almost flunked in the first semester because I didn't know how to study medicine. And that is how there is a physical fatigue, and then there's an emotional fatigue which keeps on setting in. And how those 10, 15 years fly off, we don't even know. And what we don't even understand is that along with the physical fatigue which we've had, there could be a lot of emotional fatigue which is also there. And that actually, the balance between those two is what will lead you to a confidence level and also lead to the professional career life cycle, which we are going to jump in as soon as the college finishes. Now, when I look at the life, 10 to 12 years is the growth. Next 20 to 25 years is what we should be aiming at, or we normally gain, is the maturity. And then the decline starts. But some people just don't decline. Why that happens? Why some people have so much energy, and why some people, even at a younger age, do not have? There is a lot to understand about, and that's something which again we have to think. And another very important, especially for us gynecologists, we do not even think about. We are educating everyone there down the line that, okay, the people who work in the night, or the shift workers, have a very disturbed circadian rhythm. Have we ever thought about our rhythm? We haven't. And the misalignment which can be because of this circadian rhythm. Why is it that we today in the world, India, or maybe all over the world also, there is a lot of obesity, there is a lot of NCDs, and there is a lot of metabolic syndrome, there are a lot of malignancies. There has to be something which we are not doing right. And I know that there are multiple contributors, but one of them is this misaligned circadian rhythm, which actually then leads to cardiovascular diseases, neurological disorders, mental health, metabolic syndrome, and gastrointestinal disorders. This is a picture almost maybe more than a decade ago of me with my two sisters who are much younger than me. And this is one of the recent pictures. Now, one of my sister is a teacher in a school, and the other one is a brand manager and is, in USA. And I was just looking at myself and how, I was just thinking, oh my God, how much I have aged compared to both of them. And this is something which probably the profession also has to. Now, lot of us, my life, because I have traveled all around the world and I've covered the length and breadth of our country. And there are many times when I hear these phrases, I've kept them purposely because these are now real time. A lot of us say, I wish I had not become a doctor. Isse to acha kuch aur hi ban jate. I wish I had not worked so hard. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not what others expected me to be. I wish I had spent half the time with my friends and family. I never had time for my friends and my family. I wish I had not gotten into the rat race of making a hospital. अब उसको कौन संभालेगा? ये बच्चे संभालेंगे कि नहीं संभालेंगे? I don't even know. I wish I had let myself be happier. And that's something which all of us probably at some stage or the other have lived with. Now, the problem with all of us is that we have these monkey minds. When we are working, we are thinking or fantasizing about a vacation. When we are at a vacation, then we are thinking, oh, so many patients must have gone back. My work must be piling, on my desk. And we have all kinds of intrusive memories of the past. And, we fret and fume about what will happen or what will not happen. We actually, because of our monkey minds, as Buddhists say, we vault from thought to thought, like as a monkey swings from tree to tree. Now, it's unbelievable, but I'm sure it is there with all of us. Now, in 2020, the National Physicians Burnout and Suicide Report came on Medscape. Now, who are the physicians who are most burnt out? Can you imagine? We gynecologists are 7th on the list. I mean, it's unbelievable, but this burnout in us is very, very common. And that is because of the various reasons which we will soon know. Now, what is it that burns us out? What is it that really makes us what, or makes us feel what we are? One of the most important things which I've seen everyone cribbing, too many bureaucratic tasks, so much paperworking. I have to write down so much, I have to document so much, I have to spend so much hours of work, which is not my work. And my colleagues don't respect, or the administrators, especially in the corporate hospitals or even in the medical colleges, there is a lack of respect. And that is also indirectly, that is adding on to the negative energies in all of us, which is leading to the burnout, which is leading to the frustration, and which also makes us feel the way we are feeling, each one of us. Now, it may be a good profession if we actually are going to lead it well. Now, how do all of us or physicians cope up with these burnouts? Now, majority of us will isolate ourselves, almost 45% on this report. People who are really good, in understanding will start getting into exercise, because exercise again is something which actually lifts your spirit up. Some people will then start engaging with the family members and close friends, and some people will sleep it over and so on. But what is worrisome here? The worrisome part here is like this report which came out in 2019, which addresses that doctors in India have a shorter life expectancy. I mean, that is something which is a hair-raising thing which we must all definitely look into. There is a lot of longevity which we are harping about, but yes, now if you look around, so many of us are going much earlier than we would have expected them to go. Now, isn't it time for us to look back and think, what is it that we are spending? Like if a 50-year-old, how that 50-year-old is going to spend the time in a lifetime, that's something which we should be definitely looking at. So let's say a 60-year-old. Now, this is 2020 data. 26 years, like half of the life is spent sleeping. 8 years and 4 months watching TV. 6 years using social media. 3 years about eating and drinking, and 2 years shopping. 1 year and 11 or 2 years socializing, and then 1.5 years about housework. How do we spend our time? Have we really sat down and talked? No, we don't talk like that. We say, oh, what is it that we are earning? And is it at par with the people who are doing as much work or much lesser work? And that is something which we actually think that is how we should be assessing ourselves. Now, if you're looking at the 2018 data on who earns the big bucks, I think doctors or specialist doctors were probably on the top of the list. Now, if you're looking at now 2023 data, now COVID has brought in a lot of changes. We are now looking at a lot of these artificial intelligence specialists, cloud engineers, data scientists, cyber security specialists, and healthcare people also are there. But there are many people who are earning definitely more than what we are earning. So are we really happy? This is a question I want to ask everyone, doing what we are doing. Now, it's important that we ask this question to us every time, because it's also important that we look at what our lifestyle is. I'm going to ask you a few more questions here for everyone to answer. Now, if you're looking at which specialists are the happiest, you know, where are we coming? Right in the middle somewhere. I always felt, you know, gynecologists were happier than many other branches. But, you know, this figure or this report tells us totally differently, because, and these are figures from the West. These are not even Indian figures, because in our country, the working hours are much, much more than the Western countries or Western counterparts. And if in those states also, with all that pay scale, if people are not happier, then what is actually going to make them happy? I really don't know. But I sometimes feel our happiness quotient is much better than the Western counterparts, because we are brought up in such a way that, yes, you know, we engage ourselves, we accept, and most of us are very passionate about what we are doing, because we know that our country needs. Now, a lot of people assess themselves about, especially the car which we have. Doctors are very fond of having big cars and, you know, big names. And it's something which I don't know if material things give us happiness. You must definitely go ahead and do. But cars are hard investments, but relationships need softer investments. And that's something which is very, very important for us to understand, that there's a definite quotient between the two. I was actually remembering one of these poems which we used to, you know, learn when we were in kindergarten. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It wouldn't be a stylish marriage because I can't afford a carriage, but you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle meant for two. Now, this is what love and happiness actually does. And that's something which we should definitely be looking at. Now, taking a break. The survey was done and it was seen that only 9% of the physicians took a break for more than 6 weeks in a year. Only about 44% took a break for 3 to 4 weeks. And majority of us are actually, and can you imagine, 3 to 4 weeks is what? When we don't even have a Sunday break. So if you're carrying on with 52 days, only Sundays, these vacations are away from that calculation. So understand what I'm trying to say here, because this is something very, very important. Now, every time I have heard people saying, I don't have time. Time is very precious. I don't have time even to go to the loo. And I'll tell you a story here because it was so funny. It was Nareen's 50th birthday. And he was always talking about, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. And this was his favorite dialogue, I don't have time to go to the loo. So I didn't know how to put a stop to that. So what I did, that we made 50 gifts, and out of that 50 gifts, I made one pajama where I had cut a U out from the center. And I said, okay, now when you don't have time, this is the pajama you should wear. Because it was so funny. You have to take out time for yourself. And that's something which is very important, because we are chasing things and which are not really enough, and from our busy schedules, and you never stop running after one thing or the other. But what is important here is we have to sit down, we have to close our eyes, we have to meditate, and we have to understand what is it that is really important for us. How should I be managing a personal time and a professional time, which is very, very important. It is our duty to look after our patients, but it's also our duty to look after our families. It's also a duty to look after ourselves. If we are not going to be healthy, how are we going to look after people? And that's something which all of us have to understand. And the worst part is that this time management is not actually taught to us in the medical school. Now, what we learn in the medical school or the medical college stays with us for lifetime. And that's something which is very, very important, because if time management is not routinely emphasized in the undergraduate and the graduate curricula. We're going to lead the lives what we're leading. And then suddenly, after decades and decades, some people will understand that, oh, the life balances which all of these youngsters, techies are talking about, they are very much more important and more applicable to each one of us who are the medical specialists. Now, whenever I also have gone through all those cycles, whenever you start doing something, I would start, I thought I am not exercising. I was a sports person and I totally stopped exercising or, indulging in any kind of exercise at one point of time in my practice. And suddenly I saw my health deteriorating very fast. But when I started doing it, I was absolutely never being able to keep up with the schedules. And this is something which I am sure happens to everyone. If you start exercise or you start yoga, you do it for a day or two, next day you're feeling very lazy, you've had a night which has been very, very tough, and you'll say, okay, give it up today, I'll do it tomorrow. And that tomorrow actually never comes. Now, why I'm talking about this? Because today, another very important message which I want to give. There are three kinds of people. There are people who work very hard. There are people who work smart. And there are people who work in teams. And that is something which we have to decide, because one thing which I have actually seen in most of us is that we don't want to work in teams. And if we'll not work in teams and if we'll not work smart, then we'll keep on working hard and we'll never have time for ourselves. Now, when we look at any organization, I have purposely chosen this picture here. A team means a team. Everyone is with a mask. Everyone is capable. We have to realize that each one is capable. The major problem with all of us is that we think we are the most capable and the other person is not capable at all. And that's why to delegate work or give responsibility becomes very hard for us. But when we delegate work, I am sure when you did your first cesarean, you didn't do it really perfectly, but with time, it came up. Similarly, there have been, like I would say I do IVF and we say, okay, if somebody has done 50 embryo transfers, that most of the people will become at par. So we need to delegate work to make our lives easier. Because when we talk about anybody's life, which we are going to save, not at the cost of our life, because teamwork basically is associated with improved patient safety, it's more effective care, and definitely a better work environment. Today, we have to understand that there is a very important aspect, which is a work environment. But who makes the work environment? We are the ones who make the work environment. So we can make it good, we can make it bad. And both ways, we have to work in that environment. So we have to understand this, which is very, very important. But of course, there's a lot of difference. I do understand there's a lot of difference between theory and practice. There's so much variation in our thought processes. We may have common goals, each one of us, but the way we function is totally differently. Now, why can't we function like a football team? I always have this question in my mind, because when you are in a football team, then what happens? In football, you can't really go alone. It's just a very simple philosophy. You surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, and you have to just let them do it. And that's something which Schumacher said, and that's something, it's what an important lesson it is. Why can't we let people do what they are good at? And thus, everyone will definitely have a better time and a better lifestyle for all of us to lead our lives well and look after our families also. Now, around us, we have a lot of people. We have friends, we have to look at our careers, we have families, we have health, and that is what all this life balance is all about. Now, how do we do it? Is there a way? I don't know how many of you have heard about this wheel of life. Now, Wheel of Life has, it's a really wonderful tool to improve your life balances. If you look at, there is 0 to 10. And if you see, you can put all that is involved in your life, whether it is career, friends, community, sports, team, members, colleagues, manager, mother, father, and so on. Now, you yourself just close your eyes and you think, okay, how much weightage you would like to give to a particular relationship or work. And you can actually then make this wheel of life, and you can understand and then divide your time which is available to you, these 24 hours, in balancing life and living to the fullest which you would like to do. Now, how much do you want to earn? That is another very important. And what we earn, how are we going to spend it? It's a very simple rule, which is a 50, 30, and 20, which Elizabeth Warren gave us. Now, whatever we earn, 50% has to be spent or should be spent on our needs, whether it's groceries, housing, utilities, health insurance, or car payments. 30% is something you keep for what you want. There's so many things which we want to do: shopping, we want to go on vacations, we want to, dine out, we have some hobbies to keep. You keep 30% for that, but 20% should go into savings. And that's again a very important learning which we should definitely be looking into. Now, how do we really divide our time to be more productive? Which is again a very, very important aspect, because everyone has a routine. And, this is something which we should set our daily goals. When you get up in the morning, you know what you have to do, set up your daily goals. But before that, there's a lot of homework to be done. You have to prioritize your goals. What is it that I want to achieve in life? How much I can do? What is it that, in today's work, the list I have in my own life, I have an endless list. I really don't know. I really didn't know how to do, and go about things, because it makes a chaos in your brain. And it sometimes, you're not even able to think straight. Now, it's a very simple Eisenhower's matrix which we have. Now, very important is you label the works as important, not important, urgent, not urgent. And when something which is urgent and important, you have to do it in the first quadrant. Now, important but not urgent, schedule it. It's not important but urgent, delegate it, because if you're not able to do it, delegate it. And if it is not urgent and not important, declutter it. And that is how you should be definitely looking into. Now, another very important aspect is you have to prioritize. Now, how much money do we really want? And what is it that my time is really worth for? Now, I know people who will keep on doing work and they'll keep on stacking money. They don't even know what to do. They don't know how much they have. They don't know where they spend. And they don't even know whether their children are really going to use it well later on in life. Now, there's some people who will, utilize their time and make more money. There's some people who will spend their time investing, and especially in others, and build up better relationships. There's some people who will use their time creating a flexible career and enjoy their freedom. And there's some people who spend their time working on very high impact projects and contribute more to the society. What is it that we want to do? Whether we want more wealth, whether we want more friends, whether we want more freedom, or we want to have an impact. And that is how all of it comes down, that you need to value your time and you have to spend it accordingly on being efficient and effective. Let me ask you a question. This was really interesting. How these techies basically value their time. And I am sure you must have, had some lawyers or some, people who will say, okay, I am putting in as many hours and this is the fee I am going to charge. How do they really calculate what is their hour worth? how do we really calculate what is our worth? Because our 1 minute also when you have saved a life is worth that life. But how does it translate into the money? Because we cannot do that. We are not brought up thinking like that. But people think like that. If somebody is getting a salary of 35,000, 65,000, or 200,000, they divide it in their working hours, and then their 1 hour is worth that much money. So if you're giving them a task which is going to take as many hours, they'll calculate and then they'll tell you, okay, this is how I'm going to charge. This is intelligent, efficient working on people who can actually work. Now, our intelligence is what makes us human, because we are human beings, we are looking after human beings, and artificial intelligence is something I think is an extension of this quality, and we should be definitely using it for making us more effective and more efficient, because these are two very important things which we should be looking at. Because today you have a lot of gadgets which we are using in our house, in our clinics, where artificial intelligence is there. There are cars which are moving on their own. You just sit down, you can read a book. I can leave a robo in my house which can do the cleaning. I can time it, and it can do the cleaning and dusting when I'm off, to the office. There's so many things which are available, but adaptation to that is something which is very, very important. COVID taught us teleconsultation, and telehealth has been a very, very new norm. It has made us digital, digi savvy. Digit all is the slogan for this Women's Day. And this is something which we all, and a lot of us are resisting. I don't know how to use a laptop or a phone, or we normally. Now, this app I wanted to talk about is also an innovation during the COVID period. I was definitely working on the app before that, but the actual use came up in the COVID period when all these women who were, inside their houses, they did not know. Doctor is not available, what to eat, pain is there, whom should I consult, what should I eat? This app helped. Now, recommending and using the right resources is also something which we all should be looking at. Now, as I said in the beginning, women are the multitaskers. But does multitasking always has an effect which we are really desiring to? Because multitasking also has a lot of distractions in your brain. So when you're doing one work, you're thinking about the 10 others which you haven't done. So focus is something which is very, very important. And for focusing, starting a task and finishing it is something where you will be able to tick that, yes, this is the work which I have done and I've finished it, and there's one load off my head. But to do that, you have to be very mindful. You have to meditate, you have to focus. And another very important thing which we must all know, it was very hard for me also to learn. I still haven't heard it, but learned it as much, is the power of no. Because saying no to somebody is very uncomfortable. I mean, it is very, very hard for many people to say, no, I can't do it. So what do? We tell lies. We say, okay, maybe somebody will do it this way, we'll do it that way. But that's something which you have to understand. It is always better when we say something straight away. And that is it. And people start appreciating it. There's no shame in saying no. Saying no makes time for what you love. Saying no gives more power to your yes. Saying no is standing up for yourself. And saying no to yourself is something which, why are you saying no to yourself only every time and saying yes to other people? So there is something which is the time which is non-negotiable, free time, which you need for yourself, which you need to look after yourself, which is very, very important, and you have to value your time. And that's something which is very important for all of us to understand, that we need, and there's some time which is non-negotiable. That is my time. That's my time with my family, with my people, with the works which I want to do. If you see here, because I value that this time is very important for my health and my wellness. And if I am well, we say there is no house, there's no family, there's no society, and there's no nation which can work without the woman. The woman is the fulcrum. If that woman is not healthy, then this house or nation cannot really go forward. And that is something which we should be definitely looking at, that this is my non-negotiable time. Second very important thing is time management. And as I gave you so many options on how to manage your time is something very important. Now, when you start your day, looking after yourself is also important. So you need to take out time to do some mindful exercises. And yoga is one of them, which is very, very important, because this mindfulness brings clarity of thought. And every time when you're looking at, like when I agreed for this lecture at a very short notice, I'm giving you a very important aspect. I was supposed to go to Sydney for this whole week from 4th to 11th of March for a meeting. And I actually had so much work on my head. I said, I think I wish I should not be going because I'm getting tired. And I look at, all the pending works and rather finish them up. And that is how, when I canceled that and Dr. Sadhana rang up and I said, okay, now I have 7 days free. I can take out 1 hour. And that's something you should be looking at, that we need to find out that every hour or every little day which we have has to be productive. And this is something which is very, very important, because when you are trading, that time which was prioritized for something else must think, what is it going to be like, whether it's going to be productive, and will I be very happy doing it. Now, second important thing was when she asked me the topic. Now, this topic I had already made. The talk, I had given it once or twice before. So I knew, and I thought it was really apt for this particular day. So it's not going to take so much time, or exercise to present it. Now, this is what is a rescue time. Otherwise, I would have taken about 15, 16 hours to make this presentation if it was a new presentation. So every time we juggle and think efficiently and to be effective. Lastly, we are going to come to how much money does anybody need? Now, people say, and I have a lot of old people in the house, they say, if you have money, you can lead your life in your old age well. Maybe yes, but how much money is important? And that is something, will all that money really make the difference in what you're really wanting to do in the rest of your life? What normally people say is that anything around $75,000 a year is something which you would make it, have a very, very great life. And if you have as much amount somewhere in the bank, maybe as much interest, you have to look into what interest or what you're getting on investing that money. You have to invest your money well, so that whatever salary today you are getting, you are able to have at least 10 or 15% more during your retirement period, so that you can afford the same lifestyle. But sometimes, we do not think like that. And that's something which we should definitely be looking at. And as I said, mindfulness is something very, very important. And mindfulness is not only yoga. Mindfulness is meditation. Mindfulness is breathing. Mindfulness is balancing, stress reduction. It's awareness. It's about body and it's about soul. And that is something which we should all be looking at, because people who are mindful definitely have a better life and a longer life and a happier life, which is there. So last but not the least, if we can't do certain things, it's very, very important for us to let go, because we don't really, we stick to things. We try to keep, things sticking to ourselves. We can't let things go. And that's something which is really, really terrible. And as Hugh Glory said, it's a terrible thing, I think, in life, to wait until you are ready I have this feeling now that actually no one is ever ready to do anything. There is almost no such thing as ready. There's only now. And you may as well do it now. Because generally speaking, now is as good as any time. And that's something which we have to understand, because we keep on postponing. Oh, when I will get a little settled in my life, and when I'll have my children settled, then I will do this. When my children are going to be married and then I'll have grandchildren, then I will do this. And that time never ever comes. And never give yourself an opportunity that 20 years later, you will be more disappointed by the things you did not do than by the ones you actually did. So throw off all your bowlines, sail away from the safe harbors, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. That's what Mark Twain said. Because if you keep on postponing, tomorrow will never come. And let us hear what my granddaughter says. The moment they understand that जीवन ना तो भविष्य में है ना अतीत में, जीवन तो सिर्फ इस पल में है. Live for the moment, do everything what you have to do right now. Do not postpone, prioritize. That is something which is there, but you can't achieve it without your thoughts in place, without good teamwork, without good family support, which you have to build, and also people around. And I always say, I can conquer the world with one hand if my other hand is managing my life and my time well. I'd like to thank each one of you for having me here and sharing my thoughts on this wonderful, wonderful Women's Day. I hope it has given some insight to all of us. And it's been a very, very hard way which I learned. But yes, life is a constant learning. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you,
That was great.
Dr.
Great.
I would now request the chairpersons to give a vote of thanks before we hand over the plaque to ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Jaideep. You have literally done justice by not only enumerating what are our deficiencies and what we should change, but also showing it to us by your own example. There's nothing better that teaches somebody than looking up to somebody who has achieved it all and yet kept a balance between home and life. I often say, as Bhagavad Gita has told us, and you have quoted this in your thing also, the moment is now. It's never before, it's never after. And the moment to realize that we are not just gynecologists, human beings, but a pure soul that is coming to this earth to do good karmas, to build your future for your eternal life. And that moment of realization is now. I think I am totally indebted to you for bringing out this message on Women's Day for all us women that struggle all the time to achieve this balance.
I would now request Dr. Sharda Jain and Dr. Sadhna and
Dr. Sudha
Ragini.
Sharma, Dr. Amrit, we need please
Their
comments,
comments?
from
All right.
Dr. Sudha. Dr.
Perfect.
Neerja is unable to join. So Dr. Sudha and Dr. Amrit.
So a very good evening, everyone, all the seniors present over here and all the friends. So thanks, Dr. Jaideep, for a mesmerizing and, excellent talk with, beautiful carry home messages, I must say that. So, whenever Dr. Jaideep is there, I always say two things Agra is famous for. One is Taj Mahal and one is Malhotra couple. So we have to give this to this Malhotra couple. So believe me, when you said this top 5, regrets of flying, dying amongst the doctors, When I was this much small, I wanted to become a doctor. I don't know how and why, just because I was, fascinated with those syringes and needles. Never knew there is so much of hard work in it. And then I wanted to become a gynecologist once I became the doctor. But believe me, never this thought came to my mind that why I became a doctor and why I became gynecologist. Because we as, gynecologists and as doctors know multitasking. But somewhere we all regret that हमने ये नहीं किया लाइफ में. बच्चों को शायद ज्यादा पेशेंस से देखा होता तो ज्यादा अच्छा होता. ओ, अपने एल्डर्स को जितना भी करो उस टाइम पे पेशेंस लूज किया, नहीं किया होता तो अच्छा होता. Believe me, one day I read in Sunday Times, today's moms want to be real, they don't want to be perfect. अरे भाई गुस्सा आ गया तो ठीक है, जेन्युइन है, इसमें क्या है? You are a human being. And then I also heard Indra Nooyi, the CEO of Pepsi, saying, working women cannot have it all. Working women cannot have it all. We have to, keep this thing in mind. Because अगर किसी की पेरेंट्स टीचर मीटिंग में 10 बार जाना था, 9 बार चले गए तो फिर क्या? So we have to chill out. I feel that we have to be positive. We have to be, optimistic, happy. What I feel is try to detach yourself while being attached. It is very, easy to say, difficult to do. But once you think in your mind, once you try to do it, believe me, slowly and slowly you learn how to do all these things. And then you very rightly said that whether these materialistic things give us happiness or not, but definitely our relations, friends, family, this NIGF forum, they all make us happy. Believe me. So we have to learn first to look after yourself. Very rightly you said that once we look after ourselves, we'll be able to look after the whole family. And once you look after yourself, all these females present over here and listening and hearing us, if you have a positive health, you will make a positive family, you will make a positive and healthy society, and you will make a positive and healthy nation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So
Yes.
look after your own emotions.
Dr. Amrit, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Dr. Sudha. Thank you, Dr. Mala, for Pulse of Wisdom. Dr. Amrit Palkot from Amritsar, from City of Golden Temple.
Very good evening to all my seniors and all my dear friends. I thank Dr. Jaydeep for the excellent oration I have ever heard. I have no words for that. Ma'am is so senior and we look so small in front of all this. And we have learned so much. Like, always remain in present. Do it now. Because past is gone. You can't do to the past. You cannot change the past. And future has not come yet. And it will, when it will come, it will be just now. So that is the power of now, that do it now. And so many things I have learned from her, what to do and what you can delay, what you can delegate and what you can delete. There are 4 Ds I have learned from her. And prioritize the things to do. Ma'am, and the power of no. What I have learned, I've always told my husband, you never say no. There's so much power when I say no to somebody. He says, why? You can do it. Why are you saying no? But I, many a time, like practically, I am truthful to myself. Many a time I say, no, I can't do. I have told Dr. Sadhana also, ma'am, for 2 months, I won't be there in this forum because of some commitments at home. So much to learn from you seniors. And at the end, I wish you all a very, very happy International Women's Day, because the society, we are the half of the society, and many a times we are doing much more than the male counterparts. So, and wish you a happy Holi to all of you. Thank you so much for making me part of it. Thank you.
We request our patrons, Dr. Sharda Jain, Dr. Kamal Bakshi, all Vice President, President-elect Dr. Ragini, and Dr. Mala, everybody to present plaque of virtually, that is plaque is there. So it is a great pleasure to present this plaque, that is Award of Appreciation awarded to Dr. Jaideep Malhotra for delivering North India Gynae Forum Platinum Oration on 6th March 2023. Gratitude from NIGF office bearers and members. Dr. Jaideep, we will like to present it personally. We always present it personally, and it will be great pleasure if we come to Agra at some near point of time and present to you in person. So thank you once again on behalf of North India Gynae Forum for this oration.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
So now coming to the second part of this, I would now hand over to the next anchor, Dr. Anita, and that is about declaration of the slogan competition on education, empowerment, and energetic women competition. Dr. Anita Rajoria. Dr. Anita, you've also replied to answers in the chat box that I have seen. And so the Shield people have to give a appreciation for answering those two questions correctly. She is head of the department and senior consultant, Department of Obs and Gynae, Hedgeware Arogya Sanstha, Government of NCT of Delhi, and multiple publications, multiple awards. And now I'm handing over to her for the second part of the program.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mangala ma'am. And we are truly indebted to Jaideep ma'am. Truly, ma'am, present is the present. That is why it is called present. It's a present. It's a gift of life. Thank you, ma'am, for those lovely messages you have given. Now over to the part that we had conducted one slogan competition on the theme, Educate, Empower, Energetic Women. And the judges were Achla Batra ma'am, Dr. Divya Agarwal from Banaras, Bharti Maheshwari madam from Meerut, Amrita ji from Gorakhpur, and Dr. Bharti Kalra from Karnal. All the judges are welcome. They are here with us, and I'll ask them to share their point of views while they were judging this. And the conveners for this competition were respected Sharda Jain ma'am, Dr. Sadhana Gupta ma'am, Ragini Agarwal ma'am, Archana Verma ji, and Mala Srivastav. The presentations, the slogans, they were beautiful. There were multiple entries. The response was very good. I know the slogans were shared to these respected judges. They must have had a difficult time in judging the slogans. But as it is customary, I'm, sharing the screen for showing you the results. So top 5 I will show. So the 5th winner is Dr. Anuja Goyal. She writes, शिक्षित सशक्त व ऊर्जावान नारी छू सकती है आकाश, बस समानता, सम्मान व अवसर की है उसे तलाश. 4th winner was Dr. Pushpa Vishnoi. अपनी काबिलियत और हुनर के बल पर हम रहें जमी से आसमां तक नई उड़ान. मैं लक्ष्मी हूँ, सरस्वती हूँ, कोमल हूँ, पर अबला नहीं. आपने स्वाभिमान के लिए चंडी भी हूँ. गर नहीं दोगे मुझे मान सम्मान, तो कभी नहीं बनेगा मेरा भारत महान. प्रतिभा अग्रवाल जी 3rd विनर. तुम सीता नहीं हो जो किसी रावण के बहकावे में आ जाए. तुम द्रौपदी भी नहीं हो जिसके चीर हरण पर समाज चुप रह जाए. तुम गंधारी भी नहीं जो आंखों पर पट्टी बांधकर जीवन बिताए. तुम लक्ष्मी हो, दुर्गा हो, सरस्वती हो. तुम अपनी शक्ति अपने आप बनो, तुम जो अभिलाषाओं के पंख फैलाए और आसमान में उड़ जाए. 2nd विनर बहुत छोटा प्यारा सा इन्होंने लिखा है, पर मैसेज बहुत अच्छा है. शिक्षा, रोजगार, प्रशासन एवं राजनीति सर्वत्र विद्यमान रहे नारी शक्ति. बहुत बढ़िया नताशा जी. एंड 1st विनर इज डॉक्टर पूजा ददवाल. आपको बहुत बहुत मुबारक हो. इन्होंने लिखा, बेटी के बचपन में जब होगी किताब तो बनेगी वो औरत नायाब. अपनी साक्षरता और सशक्तिकरण से लाएगी ऐसा बदलाव घर के चूल्हे चौके को नहीं बल्कि बदल देगी वो समाज। तो सबको बहुत बहुत मुबारक हो। I will stop sharing and ask my respected judges कि वो इसके बारे
We
में
will
प्रकाश
like to,
डालें।
Anita, first of all, Dr. Sharda Jain and Dr. Kamal Bakshi is with us. So Dr. Sharda Jain and then judges. You just check who the judges who are present, Anita. Just check in between.
Yeah.
So Madam Sharda Jain.
Sharda Jain, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Jaideep talk was spellbound. I can't speak anything more than this. Okay? I think she was just superb. She gave real tips, and I can definitely say it's the time management and priorities. Life has to be very simple. The more simpler it is, things become very easy. You've got to prioritize yourself. कि आपने क्या करना है। और मेरे को एक ये भी बिल्कुल क्लियर है, जो ऊपर वाले ने आपसे कराना है वो करा ही लेगा आपसे, चाहे आप सीधी पकड़ो तो ठीक है, नहीं तो उल्टी पकड़ के आपसे काम करवा लेगा। तो ये वाली बात तो ये है कि बहुत कुछ आपके कंट्रोल में है, पर थोड़ा बहुत आपके कंट्रोल में नहीं। It was superb, Dr. Jaideep Malhotra. It was great.
कमल मैम यदि कुछ बोलना चाहे, कमल मैम I think log out कर गई हैं मैडम, she's not well. Anyways, over to our respected judges. Dr. Bharti has joined us from Karnal. Dr. Bharti, how was your experience about this? Please throw some light on that. Please unmute yourself, Dr. Bharti. Dr. Bharti is president of Karnal OBGYN Society. Welcome, Dr. Bharti.
Thank you, dear friends. It's a great opportunity to be present and be part of this judging the slogans. It was really a tough time, and I found it is very interesting to keeping these topics and getting the slogans done. And I want to add my slogan also to it. That is, a woman hold up half the sky and create opportunities to fly high. So it's not we wait for the opportunity from others. We create our opportunities on our own. So I congratulate all the winners because it was really very good, and we want these slogans to be published in our coming meets. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharti ji. Achla ma'am is here with us. She was one of our honorable judge. Achla ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Anita. First of all, happy Holi to everyone. And it was great listening to Dr. Jaideep. As always, she speaks from heart. Regarding the slogan competition, it was really interesting judging it. And I really liked one slogan, which says that you're not Gandhari, you're not Draupadi, you're not Sita. One should not be that. And women, we are the creator of the word. The word starts with us. If a woman is not there, there's going to be no word. And now with the advances in science, the epigenetics also says that if a woman is healthy, progeny is going to be healthy and the next generation is going to be healthy. So we should think of ourselves, as something which is God has given a gift to the world, and we should be, proud of ourselves, and we should try to do everything like Dr. Jaideep says, with time management, keeping ourselves also happy and also then make others also happy. And the judging was really nice, reading all those slogans, how creative our doctors are. So I think it's a very good idea to have this kind of things to bring the creativity out from the people. Thank you for making me the judge.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. We are really obliged, and our gratitude to all the judges. अगर डॉक्टर दिव्या अग्रवाल, डॉक्टर अमृता या डॉक्टर भारती महेश्वरी हमसे जुड़ी हुई हैं तो प्लीज अनम्यूट करें और अपना उनका कैसा रहा इसके बारे में वो अनुभव बताएं. आई थिंक दे आर नॉट देयर. तो मैं बस फिर इस बात को यहीं पे मैं समाप्त करती हूँ. सभी जो स्लोगन कंपटीशन वाले जिन्होंने भी भाग लिया है वो सभी अपने में विनर हैं और टॉप 5 तो बहुत ही अच्छे हैं. और एज प्रॉमिस्ड साधना मैम जो है उसको टाइम टू टाइम शेयर करती रहती हैं NIGF ग्रुप्स में. तो बस मैं अब ये इस भाग की समाप्ति अपनी स्वरचित कविता मैं आपको एक बताऊंगी. कृपया मुझे रोक दीजिए जहां पे भी आपको लगे समय ज्यादा हो रहा है. मैंने लिखा था सबल सशक्त और समर्थ नारी। हर आंगन की बिटिया बहु प्यारी हूँ, जीवन के झंझावाती तूफानों पर भारी हूँ, मैं सबल सशक्त और समर्थ नारी हूँ। अंधेरे मिटाती दीपक की सहज लौ, मैं तमहारी हूँ, मैं रश्मि उदीप उज्ज्वला प्रकाशकारी हूँ, मैं सबल सशक्त समर्थ नारी हूँ। आशा एवं विश्वास भरी पुष्पों की क्यारी हूँ, विषमता और राह अवरोधकों से न कभी हारी हूँ, मैं सबल सशक्त समर्थ नारी हूँ। भुला न सके इतिहास जिसे वह कर्मकारी हूँ, नव राष्ट्र नव समाज नव चेतना की रचनहारी हूँ, मैं सबल सशक्त समर्थ नारी हूँ। लक्ष्मीबाई सी वीरांगना, सरोजनी सी मृदभाषिणी कोकिला, इंदिरा सी राष्ट्र हितकारी हूँ, अटल अदम्य धैर्य धारिणी साहसी सहचारी हूँ, मैं सबल सशक्त समर्थ नारी हूँ। कोमलांगी गृहस्था, वात्सल्यमयी माता, आचरण से तो परिवारी हूँ, निज कार्य क्षेत्र में निपुण सफल चिकित्सक व अधिकारी हूँ, मैं सबल सशक्त समर्थ नारी हूँ। त्याग समर्पण की प्रतिमा, अथाह प्रेम की स्रोत और शुभ संस्कारी हूँ, अनुभूति अनुभवी नारित्व की नटखट भालपन की किलकारी हूँ, मैं सबल सशक्त समर्थ नारी हूँ। धन्यवाद। ओवर टू माला।
Thanks, Dr. Anita, for that excellent presentation that you gave. It was really a desert to all of us. And what a completion of the program today evening. It's my pleasure and privilege to propose the vote of thanks for this evening. It's my pleasure to thank Dr. Sharda Jain Madam, who is a patron of NIGF, and ma'am is always encouraging us and giving us ideas for various academic activities. It's my pleasure to thank Dr. Sadhna Gupta Madam, who is the president of NIGF, and she's planning all the academic activities and enlightening us with various activities on the forum. I take a pleasure in thanking Dr. Ragini Agarwal Madam, who is the president-elect of NIGF, and ma'am has always guided us in different academic activities that we are planning on this forum. I take pleasure in thanking all the vice presidents, Dr. Achla Batra, Dr. Jaya Chaturvedi, Dr. Amritpal Kaur. I also take a pleasure in thanking our mentors, especially Dr. Kamal Bakshi Madam, who was present in the evening, and Dr. Usha Sharma Madam, Dr. Chandravati, Dr. Meera Agnihotri, and Dr. Lagbir Dhaliwal Madam, who always guides us at different occasions for our career as well as for our activities. I thank especially Dr. Mala Arora, Dr. Amritpal Kaur, Dr. Sudha Sharma, Dr. Nirja Batla, who could not make it, for chairing the session on oration. And it was a real pleasure to listen to the excellent oration from Dr. Jaideep Malhotra Madam, who had really mesmerized us with the wonderful ideas and oration this evening. I thank Dr. Mangla Dogra Madam as well as Dr. Anita Rajoria for conducting the evening session so well. I thank all the delegates who have logged in today and have been a part of this program of NIGF throughout the evening. In the end, I thank our program conductor, the scientific partner, Sahiti, and I welcome everyone, wishing you happy Holi and a wonderful International Women's Day, which are going to come on 8th. Thanks everyone. Good night and good